Guys, welcome to the Royal Enfield Ride Peer podcast. Today with us we have Captain Louis Rudd, MBE. And I'd love to keep this introduction short, but it's not going to be possible. Louis has been in the British Special Forces for 34 years. He is a member of the SAS and the Royal Marine Commando. So that's the beginning. So Louis is also the first person to walk across Antarctica twice, unsupported, all by himself. The only person on a planet of 8 billion, I think we touched 8 billion now. And it doesn't end there. Louis also races enduro motorcycles. He used to ride motorcycles behind enemy lines also. I met Louis when at Union Glacier, and it's been a privilege talking to him. And you guys are going to have a great time listening to what he has to say about a lot of things. So, Louis, welcome to Royal Enfield Ridemania. First time in India. What do you think about India?
Yeah, thanks very much for the invite to come out. I've never been to India at all before, so it's a real privilege to come out here. It was quite a change in the weather. When I left the UK, it had been raining for about 2 weeks, which is typical and pretty miserable, dark kind of weather. So to fly in and get off the plane and it'd be around 30 degrees and bright sunshine is a absolute pleasure to be here. And thanks very much to Royal Enfield for hosting me. It's been an awesome trip.
Okay. So you've been riding a motorcycle around Goa. And we've had about 15,000 other people riding a motorcycle at the same time. The streets are pretty crowded. How did you find riding around Goa?
It's exciting. I really enjoy it. I mean, you've got to have your wits about you, and you need eyes in the back of your head because you're kind of, as well as dodging the traffic, you've got cattle and you've got dogs running around in front of you. I think we had a calf and we were chasing down the street when we were riding this morning. So it's brilliant fun. It's really challenging riding, but and to get out and see some of the city is just great fun. And we've had some awesome coffee on the pit stops as well.
You're not much of a spectator, are you? So what did you end up doing today?
So I'm the worst spectator in the world. I find if I go and watch something, I'm dying to actually go and do it. And so we came to the Ridemania Festival on Friday and we watched some of the racing and then we saw this slide school thing happening, and again I watched the slide school, for a day, and then that night I was like, no, I need to be doing that. So next day you very kindly sorted me out with some Royal Enfield riding gear, and today I had to go at slide school, and I managed to turn that into a bit of a race somehow. But I think that's just the competitive spirit in me. But so I've been racing around at the Ridemania Festival. It's been great fun.
So you turned a slide school into a slide race, right?
pretty much, yeah. Hence why I'm covered from head to toe in dust at the moment. So.
And first time on a flat track for you?
Yeah. First time, riding that style of bike. First time doing sort of flat track racing, and some brilliant instruction. The guys that they're teaching, the tips they were coming up with about, tipping the bike in, and the weirdest thing was the fact that there's no front brake on the bike. I'm used to going into corners. I've got a background in racing enduro and motocross, and you kind of use both brakes and kind of brake really late and hard before you kind of tip the bike into the bend. But I kept grabbing for this non-existent front brake and on the first couple of sessions until I got the hang of it, and then I got the hang of sliding the back end just on the rear brake. So that was great fun.
So it was fun. We were talking about your enduro racing and a little motocross, but you also ride cycles, right? Mountain bikes.
Yes, So I do a lot of mountain biking. Just where I live in the Wye Valley in Monmouthshire in the UK, is probably one of the best mountain biking places in the country. It's got a dedicated trail centre where there's some purpose-built downhill racing lines. But on top of that, the locals kind of they call them the trail fairies, come out at night and they go and build kind of off-piste tracks down through some really steep terrain on the edges of the Wye Valley. So I really enjoy riding out there. So motorbiking and quite a bit of mountain biking as well.
So 34 years in the Special Forces, years crossing polar regions. I mean, spent in the polar regions, crossing Antarctica, crossing Greenland, motorcycling, cycling. So everything seems to be a little adventurous and exciting. what does this mean to you? Why is all the things that you pursue seem to be very adventurous? Why is it so important to you?
Yeah, for me, it's I really enjoy kind of like, I guess, taking myself out of my comfort zone and just kind of expanding, my knowledge and experience and skills in lots of different areas. And for me, like the adventurous lifestyle is really important. I've got this thing in my head that when it's kind of all over and I'm laid there in my sort of final moments, I want to be able to look back and think, did I make the most of every single day of my life? And so far, touch wood, I think I have. And, to me, that's really important. You only get, one go at this, this life on earth. And for me, it's just packing in as much as I possibly can and making the most of every single day, because you never know what's around the corner. And I had a real personal tragedy where I lost my wife a couple of years ago to cancer, and that really kind of made me realize that you do have to make the most of your time here, because you never know when it's going to come to an end.
I don't think anybody could have put it any better, and I really want to join you on a few adventures. So have you thought of what you're going to be doing next? Outside of what you've been doing all this while that you're going to continue doing, do you have any ideas of what you want to be doing?
Yeah, so and it's all your fault. So obviously we met in Antarctica at the end of last year. You were there doing an incredible expedition, riding Royal Enfields for the first time ever in history. On the Great White Continent, and we bumped into each other at Union Glacier, the base camp there, and I was just. Really, I was genuinely inspired. I saw this truck come in with these motorcycles on this trailer on the back, and I was like, what the hell? What is this? Guys riding motorcycles in Antarctica. I'd never seen anything like it before. And then we met, and I found out all about your incredible expedition, and from there, we've had a really good friendship ever since. And you very kindly invited me out here to Goa to come and experience Ride Mania. And while we've been here, we've been concocting some cunning plans. And I'm hoping to come back in February, and we're going to take a couple of Royal Enfields into the Himalayas and try and ride them in the snow and at some serious altitudes, up towards the same sort of height as Everest Base Camp. And so that's going to be my next kind of exciting project, and I'm really looking forward to working with you on that, because I think you're incredibly inspirational, and you've just got great vision about these kind of things. So I'm going to have a great time.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to coming to Norway with you to ski across
the Hardangervidda, absolutely. I'm really excited to host you and your wife. Going to come out to Finse in Norway, which is where the likes, polar icons of Captain Scott, Shackleton, Amundsen, all went to this place to prepare themselves for their big expeditions in Antarctica.
So why don't you tell us a little about what is it that you do when you're not doing really insane things? How do you get other people involved into picking up this adventure? Could you take us through your journey with Shackleton Experiences?
Yeah, so I finished in the British Army, like you said, after nearly 35 years, a couple of years ago now. And when I left, I got involved with a company called Shackleton, named after the iconic polar explorer. And I stepped into a role with them as their director of expeditions. And I created a new half to the business, whereby we take people out, and the idea is to give people the opportunity to experience a polar expedition, because a lot of people wouldn't have no idea where to start. They were like, what kit do I need? Where do I go? How would I get to Antarctica? It's a really difficult process. And if you try and do it yourself, it takes years of research and kind of working out, what's the right kit to use? Where do I go? How do I train, prepare? So the idea behind Shackleton is to give people the opportunity. We do all of it for them. And, we supply the equipment. We do like a preparation journey where we like to teach them how to prepare themselves physically and mentally. And then we take them out to this place, Finse in Norway, which is where you're coming with your lovely wife. And we run this polar skills course, and we teach people all the skills involved with doing a polar expedition. And from that point, people have got aspirations. Then they go off and they can ski solo to the South Pole and take on, bigger challenges. And so I really enjoy kind of, passing on, I guess, my years of experience And that's really satisfying to see people kind of go through that journey that I went through myself many years ago when I was kind of starting out in the polar world. And seeing people arrive in kind of day one when they step off the train in Finse, they're like startled rabbits in the headlights. And like, oh my God, and you can see they're really like anxious. And oh my God, and they don't know what to expect. And they're like, how cold is it going to be? How physically difficult? You know, can I sleep in a tent at -20 out on the snow? And then to see by the end of the week, the progression as they've come through and they kind of get back on that train and they slump into the seat exhausted, but with a massive sense of satisfaction that they've, you know, got through the course and achieved what they did. So it's, for me, that's really rewarding, you know, passing on that experience.
So yeah, coming back to Ridermania, what did you think about the people in the Royal Enfield Ridermania? It's the motorverse now, so it's expanded, and we've seen it grow over 13 years now, but this is your first time seeing this festival. What was your first take on the motorverse?
First impression, wow. You know, it was like, wow, it's, what an incredible festival. I know you guys have not been able to run it for the last couple of years because of COVID, so your first year back after the pandemic, and I flew in on the first morning. So I landed, I think, about 5 o'clock in the morning on the Friday, which was day one of the festival. Managed to grab a couple of hours of sleep in the hotel, and then you came down and picked me up, and we came in, and yeah, what an atmosphere! Just incredible. You know, I mean, thousands of bikes all pouring into this venue, lots of like groups and clubs, you know, in fancy dress and wigs on, and everybody like revving like crazy, and the noise and just the atmosphere was just amazing. And then come into the festival ground. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge area, so much going on. There's like skate parks, there's demonstrations, some incredible talks and activities going on, as well as, you know, slide school and the racing as well. And and then in the evening, I mean, the atmosphere with the live bands, it's just been, an absolute blast for the last, you know, 2 or 3 days. And I know we went to the final day today, isn't it? So, but yeah, really, really enjoyed it. Like, you know, it's been a great, and everyone's so friendly as well. Like, you know, super friendly atmosphere as well, and just felt, you know, like, yeah, it's had a great time. So
yeah. So we'll wrap this up with a ride tomorrow morning, and I'll take you across some of the beautiful parts of Goa when it's a little more sedate and calm. And do you think you'll be back here again for Ridermania?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you invite me back, I'll be here, and really excited about tomorrow to see rural India, you know, and get out, you know, kind of the city. And I'm definitely more comfortable in the rural environment than the urban. So super excited to be riding some Royal Enfield motorcycles, you know, in a stunning part of India.
Okay, thank you so much, Louis.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, thanks.